Hello everybody and welcome to Talking Teal Season 5 Episode 4. I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And we are Lady Parts TV. And we are in love with Sigrid Thornton.
Love you, Sigrid.
We've fallen in love. I mean, we've always been
We've always
in love,
loved
but
her. We've always
this
thought she was
episode was the Sonia episode, wasn't it?
Sonia, why is it that I don't care that she's a killer?
And you know what? I have this here as a question. Why do we love Sonia so much? But hold on, before we get there, I absolutely, we need to talk about this.
She kills with aplomb. She doesn't care, and yet we love her.
Well, hold on. So, hi everybody. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, I'd just like to, first of all, thank you again to our extremely generous Indiegogo supporters.
You people are just amazing, over the moon, fabulous.
And we're so happy that we have stuff to give you in return. So please visit our Indiegogo page and pick up some Talking Teal perks. You know, they start off very low and you can already get Talking Teal perks at like $25. And it would be really, really great for all of us, I think. We have some upcoming one-on-one and one-on-three Talking Teals happening soon. We're very excited.
We have some private
conversations and chats and blogs with people. Yeah.
that can be shared if you're interested in your fellow Talking Teal fans.
Please join us. Also, it's come to my attention that a few of you have really taken to heart our request last week for people to not go over the deadline, and you really started worrying about my stress levels. Don't worry about my stress levels. Just get it in on time. No need to worry about me, but thank you. I appreciate it. Also, last week, we had 3 questions for the Talking Teal Queen contest, and all of them were answered in this episode.
Amazing, wasn't it? It was kind of prescient to think of those.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, well, you were part of it,
I
too.
helped. I helped.
So, lots and lots of you got points, and a couple of you even got the special triple point bonus question. Good for you. So, I just want to remind you that every week the questions are posted after the episode on our Instagram page at Lady Parts TV, and there you can also find out whenever a question is being answered. I post it with the names of the people who got points. Make sure you're on it, and if you think you should be and you're not, shoot us an email and we'll check it out. Okay, episode 4. Surprisingly enough, Sarah pointed out that it wasn't very emotionally or psychologically laden and deep as some others were.
It was just
fun, right? Emily was the only one who said it was a little boring.
Oh, no, I didn't think it was boring. I mean, I think that there was certainly suspense and
some twists and surprises.
And what happens and all of those kinds of things. But in general, it was just jam-packed with Sonia and fun and surprises, and it was very, very cool. I mean, meanwhile, back in Wentworth, but over at Sonia's, things were popping.
First of all, how hot did she look at the beginning when she was coming down the stairs with
a glass of wine? So sexy and beautiful.
Sexy.
I love her hair long like that. Normally, I would say a woman of a certain age shouldn't have that much hair. It's just a thing of mine, but it really looks good on her.
Yes, it does. So, why do we love Sonia so much? I've been trying to, I mean, I loved Ferguson at the beginning as well,
yeah,
but it's a different kind of love. No.
Joan was so intriguing, and she was very sexy in her way. When she used to put on that fencing gear, it used to kind of drive me wild. But she got too crazy too fast, and she was evil. Right. She was evil. There's something about Sonia that,
different sides to her.
Yeah, she doesn't kill for the pleasure of it.
When she was whacking Helen over the head and because she was blackmailing her, Mimi turns to me and said, "Oh, I feel better now knowing that she killed her because she blackmailed her." So that somehow makes it better.
Okay. You know, at least there was a reason. At least it wasn't just because she was jealous of her husband.
Or for the fun.
No. She doesn't kill for the fun. Only Joan kills for the fun. Not only Joan, many people, but I'm talking about at Wentworth.
But, you know, and also when she was on the phone to Liz, and she was saying, "Come visit me when you get out, I'll look after you." Now, we know that she says it knowing that she is going to be in jail for a long time for perjury, obviously. But do you think she actually cares for Liz? I mean, we know now that she pretty much probably handpicked her to be the witness
stooge.
to help her.
To be her stooge.
She actually is kind of indebted to her in a way, and we'll talk about all of that. But
I really don't know, because that's the problem with Sonia
psychopaths
and sociopaths, is you really don't know where they stand in their relationships.
If they actually feel something.
If they actually feel something. I think she does feel things. I think that she does, but I think that
ultimately,
her main instinct is self-preservation.
Right.
And
so that will always come first.
Always come first. But then, of course, this is if we were out in the jungle, that would be our main...
yes, but A, we're not.
No,
and
but
B, we are.
It is our very most basic instincts.
Yes,
survival.
yes. But for her, I think survival is not. Survival would be for you and me.
I'm making excuses.
No, that's fine.
But I do believe that. But I don't know what she really feels. She certainly doesn't feel anything for Don. No. When she comforts, I think that she really likes Boomer.
Yeah. Well, but she also probably looks down at her.
Well, that's okay. You can look down at someone and still like them.
Well, yeah, but it's a different kind of like.
Yes. But I think that she has a certain affection for Boomer, and she's not a threat to her.
I think, personally, I'm just thinking about that scene where she was washing her hands while humming after killing. And she was humming, but her hands were shaking. Mm-hmm. So I liked that, because I liked knowing that she's not a completely cold-hearted, killer. She is... I don't want her to be a cold-hearted killer, because this is why we love her, I think, so much, because she entertains us. She can be very funny and she's very intelligent. She can be very kind.
Only we knew where that kindness came from.
That it's not completely self-serving.
I suppose, again, when she's nice to Boomer, it's not self-serving. I suppose that...
Well, no. Some people actually raised the possibility last week that she's been nice, so nice to the people in the prison, so that they would be, again, self-preservation, so that they would like her and care for her and not, do anything bad to her. And,
there are very few people, except for real saint-like people, like Mother Teresa, and who do even good deeds solely...
Not solely.
Out of kindness. I think everybody gets something. You get something from your kindness. Most people.
Only
Some
the
people
reward
are
of thinking
selfless.
You're a good person.
Yeah. And so I don't know that there are that many completely selfless
but we're talking
acts.
About Sonia here.
I think
we're talking about somebody who's far from that spectrum.
Sonia, who's a sociopathic murderer.
Well, do you think she's a complete sociopath?
I don't think she's a complete sociopath like Joan, but I certainly think she's a sociopath. Yes, absolutely. I think that if there's a spectrum, she's lower on the spectrum than, let's say, Joan, who is at the top of the spectrum.
Well, we know that she's killed these two people, and she had her reasons. And this is another interesting part.
She killed two people and thought she'd killed three.
That's right. Her husband, I liked. It was very interesting to me that she said he was and I quote, gambling, womanizing asshole, who took credit for all of her success. Right. And it reminded me a lot of. I know it's completely different things, but it reminded me of B, because I think a lot of. I read somewhere at some point while I was doing research that a lot of women end up in prison because they were wronged by men, and because the system doesn't help women who are wronged by men. Now, this is, of course, very different. Sonia from B, who was, that was domestic violence and abuse. But again, it's women feeling powerless, exactly. And so they find their power.
Do you think there's any possibility that he did more than just womanize, gamble, and be an asshole? Maybe he did.
Yes.
Threaten her
when she turned to Don,
abuse her.
When she turned to Don, when he talks about her husband, and you had this beautiful relationship, you had this beautiful marriage, and she said he was a gambling, womanizing asshole. When she said that, something about her changed. As in, you don't know anything about my marriage. You may think it was great, but she changed. She became to me. She became sincere in that moment. I believed her fully. I didn't for one second think she was making excuses.
No. I believed her too. It didn't even occur to me not to.
Yeah. So I find that it's interesting that the show throws these things in, because they could have easily let her be a cold-hearted woman who just wanted to,
But how much less interesting would she be?
Well, no, who killed her husband because he cheated on her or whatever, but you know, it's not that simple. So I would like to think.
And she didn't kill Helen because she cheated.
Right. She was
her.
still her friend. She killed her because she was blackmailing her because she was her alibi.
And she was going to continue to do it as long as she could, obviously.
Right. And though it was kind of a heat of the moment thing, but
it was amazing.
I don't respond well to blackmail.
Oh my God, that was so fantastic. That piece of direction, that bit of acting, that just whack.
No remorse, though, at any point. It's not like it was a crime of passion or something.
Nah, just like, all right, let's clean this loose end up. This bitch who's going to...
And she was very, I think, proud of herself for coming up with a way to get away with it. And then she was proud of herself when she thought that she got Dom hooked in her little... but then he surprised us. And that was a great, great moment. And even better than that was... after he hits her overhead, first of all, seeing her kind of wobble her way, stopping a car with her body.
The arrogance. She has such self-confidence and arrogance. Who comes up with that
idea? Marcia Gardner, who wrote this episode, must have had so much fun with it.
Yes, and I have to say, going back again to the Helen murder, to see also, they're having fun, she's so sweet, they take a selfie, and all of a sudden Helen just turns into the person she obviously is, the blackmailer, and Sonia realizes, this is never going to end,
Though even there, I have to say, it was money for her sister's medical bills.
It was money for her sister's medical bills, but it was just the way she did it, you know.
Yeah.
And
it was like, you owe me, and I can blackmail you for the rest of my life in whatever way I want.
My poor sister, who wanted to be a novelist, so didn't make any money. I love the way she threw that in too.
Yes.
Just that change from both of them.
Right.
The segue from that loving friendship moment to I'm blackmailing you to I'm killing you.
This is
it was just almost seamless.
This is the sort of thing that makes Wentworth stand out in the sea of television, even in the sea of good television. It's all those little details that subconsciously drive you insane with
delight.
Yes, and you don't even realize why exactly. It's just a combination of all these little
brilliant
things.
That's why.
And then, of course, everybody's favorite scene when she runs home and starts packing frantically.
Well, that wasn't my favorite scene, but
it was almost all of our contributors. Yes, because you know what? And I was trying to think why, because I love that scene too, and there was something in her disheveled. Because she's always so in control and so cocky and so confident, and all of a sudden, he got me there, and she just runs around. And we were saying, grab your passport and run.
Yeah, what's this packing bit?
No,
get
they
some
would have
money.
probably gotten her at the border.
Get some money and get out of there.
But you had to have her clothes. No, but they would have probably gotten her at the border. But anyway, it was just fantastic. I could have at least 3 episodes of all Sonia all the time.
Exactly.
I would be thrilled. The moment that doorbell rang when she was on the phone with Liz, I turned to Mimi and I said, "That's Dawn."
I said, of course. Why didn't it just occur to me immediately?
Yep. And of course now we know the truth about Helen, though Camille asked if we know the truth about her husband, how he died, and no, she never told us, but we can only assume that is pretty much what she was planning to do to Dawn. She had everything prepared in the boot of her car, the cinder blocks, the tarp.
She's got it all planned out,
yes.
Leaving nothing to chance. But as we know from the chaos theory, what can go wrong will go wrong.
And we're still trying to figure out, and we're wondering if we're ever going to get a full answer to it, or if we're just supposed to assume. How did he not get drugged? I mean, we knew there was so much foreshadowing. She was praising her sleeping pills. She was talking about how much he loves to drink. She invites him to go on a drive with her to show him, where she, of course, we knew that she was going to drug him in the champagne and try to kill him.
Maybe he just took a tiny little sip of it. I don't remember. I remember when we watched it the second time, trying to see.
But could he have had a chance to spill it?
He might. I don't know. But he didn't.
He actually said maybe he coated his stomach.
I said maybe he drank milk. And as we used to do in the old days, if you knew you were going to go out and get drink a little bit and you didn't want to get drunk, you would drink milk. And
Really? That actually
it
works?
could be a Bubba-Meissen for all I know. It could be an old wives' tale. But yes, we did. Not that I ever drank that much. But,
I think we need to assume that he just expected it to happen, just like we expected it to happen, because he was much wiser than we gave him credit for, and because he really he really wasn't afraid of Sonia, as he told Liz. He figured her out.
I like that too. I always like that there's somebody smarter than these people.
Exactly. And you need to know that you can always be surprised. That it's not going to be just the obvious. And when she was, of course, inviting him for a ride, we said, well, we know where that's going. But, we actually didn't know where it was going.
That was fantastic. Again, the timing of this, the bing, bang, boom, bam of all of these things. You see something? Huh? What?
It really is genius.
It's
really
like,
is.
oh, wait, there's that fly I've been looking for.
Now, those of you who are wondering, I personally, and I think you agree with me, I don't think this was any kind of plan to get Sonia for the murder. This was Dawn's plan to not be a loose end, to have something on her, and then to take the money and run. He's not planning to go back. So
no, I don't think so.
So
he's going off to be on that beach somewhere.
Exactly. So to Kathy, who was wondering how this is going to even hold up on Sonia since he got this all, he was part of her setup, he was doing everything illegally. He was, I'm assuming, he just gave an anonymous tip about where the body was, and he's already halfway on his way to who knows where. Who knows where,
somewhere in Tasmania maybe.
He's not coming
Fiji
back.
Fiji or one of those little islands that pepper the South Pacific.
The Kangaroo Island?
Perhaps the Kangaroo Island question on Jeopardy.
So that's the story with Dawn, and I don't expect to see him anytime soon, and he's not going to help Liz anytime soon either. So.
Poor Liz. But you know what? Liz is a lagger. Liz is a lagger. But I still kind of feel sorry for her. But she was lying. Well, she was out and out lying, and I really I lost some respect for Liz because of that. I know she was desperate, but I know she thought Sonia was guilty because of the head shaving thing.
Right.
That's just not an excuse. It's perjury.
Well, and it will be interesting because there are quite a few possibilities here as to where this can go, and we're going to talk about all of them because many of you named different possibilities.
Let's hear.
Well, let me just give 1 second to finish with Sonia before we move on to Liz. But
Sonia, I'm never finished with
we can
Sonia.
always come back to Sonia and talk about just ooh and ah about her because that's how I feel. But Rachel had an interesting theory. Not a crazy theory, not anything like that. But she just says that she's come to think of Sonia as the anti-B. Like anti-B.
Yeah, I get that. You mean as opposed to auntie and uncle?
Exactly. She's charismatic, beautiful, cunning, and lethal, but that's where the similarities stop. Sonia is wealthy, charming, and has loyalty to no one but herself. She will do anything and use anyone to protect herself. B had to take power to complete her plan. In many ways, she had power thrust upon her by those around her. Sonia feels she is entitled to power and control. I still believe by the end of the season she will be the top dog. Interesting.
I think she's the person the only person that can be top dog right now. I think that she's the only person that can take on Ferguson. I really do think that she's the only person. I'm looking forward to this clash of the Titans.
I hope that's where we're headed. We've been talking about it since last year.
Godzilla versus Mothra. I'm really looking.
The second Sonia arrives on the scene, remember we were talking about we want to see these two. We want to see it lead to this clash between the two of them. I'm kind of seeing, I'm hearing Western music in my head and seeing this duel. I mean, of course, it will be a psychological.
Giorgio Morcone, what's his name, who does all of the
music,
the Clint Eastwood Western movies. Yeah.
I think that's very. I hope that's where we're headed. But And by the way, about Top Dog, Lauren said that she thinks because we see Sonia's penchant for sleeping pills, and we know that that's her poison of choice in when she's getting her victims, when she's luring her victims in. So she might not be against getting drugs into the prison, which we know is an issue now more than ever. But, you know, I want to take a second right now and talk about what can we expect of Sonia going forward. Because as many of you pointed out, Sonia was very confident, very sweet, very generous because she knew she was going out. Yes, she knew she was getting out. Now
she could afford to be generous.
Yes, not only did she know that she didn't need to worry about her place in the prison because she was getting out, but also she was happy. She was thrilled. She was full of herself, knowing I figured out this perfect plan. I'm gonna get out. Now she's angry as hell, I bet, and
scared,
probably. And now she actually has to figure out how to survive in prison long term because she's gonna be there for a while. So how do you think she's gonna be different?
I don't know.
You can't wait to find
and
out.
I don't care that I don't know. I'm just willing to let it unfold.
Well, I just hope
looking forward to it.
I just hope that they maintain that delicate balance of creepy but
hilarious
and adorable.
Into another Joan.
Exactly.
That's my great worry is that they will put too much emphasis on her and they will change her from fascinating and charming. Joan was never charming. She was just fascinating and intelligent and the way she was just so interesting. Oh my God. Just don't overwhelm us with her and don't let her get away with everything. Of course they haven't. So that's
promising. But again, Ferguson had 2 great seasons before she became this. So,
but we sort of enjoyed her machinations.
I found her to be.
Yeah.
At the time, she was one of my favorite characters.
Absolutely. And we admired her brilliance and her coolness, and
she always surprised me. Now she's no longer surprising. She's just the same thing.
But she was never charming, and she was never anybody you could really like. We liked her because we admired her and because she was so fascinating.
And they did have her. She did have her little weaknesses, like Gianna, like her OCD. She had her little weaknesses. They took all of that away now. She's just this cartoon character.
Well, she's crazy still, but she's
but it's no longer interesting.
Because she never loses.
Right.
They'll
giving her a couple of
they'll take a little victory away from her, but then they reward her 5 minutes later with a victory. So it's
okay. So let's talk about Sonia and Liz. So first of all, it was very sad to hear Sonia call her a silly old cow. I hope it's like something that you Australians use kind of as a nickname, like a pet name.
I don't think so.
So not only did she know who Witness X was, she chose Witness X herself, we assume, because she looked around when she got there. So Liz looked like the right person. She probably heard the rumors that she's a lagger. So
I don't think Sonia does much by chance.
Right. So now I would think that she actually shouldn't be, hello, good morning, are we disturbing you? We left the binky out for her. I would think that she shouldn't be angry with her because she played just the right role that she wanted her to play.
She set her up.
However, she does know that she was totally willing to betray her and to lie, and that she's a liar who can't be trusted. So,
but knowing that doesn't mean that she can't still. Use her and still,
Well,
we'll see. So Liz is in for some.
Well, so I have there are. You all suggested a few scenarios, a few possible scenarios. Okay, so Denise says Sonia will use the knowledge that Liz is the liar because we know that ligers, do not survive in prison. She'll use it to her advantage and use Liz to get back at Dawn somehow. Rachel says that Liz has been ruled by fear and self-loathing until now. Will the truth about Dawn and Sonia duping her be in any way enough to make her become a new and improved Sonia?
You think angry? Empower her?
Liz, sorry. Yeah, that it will make her angry and all of a sudden she maybe will find...
She has some balls.
Yeah.
Interesting idea. I think that's a possibility, but an equal possibility is that it will break her.
I hope not, because we've seen
that
her.
She was betrayed by everybody Especially Dawn.
Especially herself. I think that when we see
Was
her
it
in
Dawn or
Dawn.
Dawn, yeah.
When we see her in this episode, when Doreen tells her, you can tell them that the police did it to you, and she says, no, it was my fault. At this point, I don't think that she was just saying that because she was protecting Dawn, then because she had any belief that they would be together, because she felt very disappointed with herself that she
fell into it.
Yeah. Because again, he may have seduced her to do it,
but she was still seduced. Right. She still did it. Right. She did it knowingly. She didn't. They didn't trick her into anything.
Right.
They maybe lied. He maybe lied as to what he could provide for her, but she wasn't tricked. She did it of her own volition.
Right. All right. Sarah has a few points that should lead us all to think whatever we think. Number one is Liz is too central a character to go into protection for too long. So whatever they do, she can't go into protection for too long. Number two, her false testimony was actually, with the exception of when she shaved her head, was actually true. So that wasn't even, I mean, if this does somehow...
No, it was not true. She said that Sonia admitted to her that she killed her.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about what actually happened. But no, she did hit her with the bottle, but she didn't strangle her, unless at some point we didn't see it.
But she didn't admit it to Liz.
No, she didn't. But the story that she told of what happened was actually true, even if she didn't hear it from Sonia. Anyway.
She said she heard it from Sonia.
Right.
That's otherwise isn't it hearsay? That's
well,
more or less, that's the perjury. She never said it. She never confessed to her.
That's true. Number three, Sonia can't expose Liz without exposing herself. Number four, Sonia is going to prison, so maybe that will lead to an investigation into Dawn, and somehow that would help Liz maybe shave off a few years of her sentence for perjury. Oh my God, I did. Number five, and I think this is very true, Sonia can't really gain anything from destroying Liz. What will she gain? I mean, besides this, maybe
satisfaction.
Exactly. Besides that,
She's
and even
smart.
that, there's nothing really for her to gain, and there's no sort of revenge really, because we know she set her up.
And then the girls will be angry with her, although Liz is a lagger. Nobody likes a lagger.
That's true. But she is in prison because Dawn set her up, not because Liz actually set her free. So she should be grateful to her. And then also number six, Sarah thinks that actually Liz is the one who should want revenge. But this is not Liz's MO. That's not really how she works. She's a self-destructive person.
And I don't think that she could want revenge for being set up to be a liar, because she, again, chose to be a liar.
That's true. Jolene says that she thinks that Sonia will enjoy playing with Liz.
That sounds logical.
That sounds logical. That's kind of what the sociopath does, which I can see as long as it's not harmful.
Not too cruel.
Yeah, because really, again, she did exactly what she wanted her to do. She needed her to completely dismantle all the accusations against her, and she did it. So how can she really be angry with Liz? I mean, I think I think she would be smarter to use Liz, because Liz is
forgive her and make her grateful to her.
Exactly. Because Liz is very malleable, and Sonia is very charming, and they have this bond together.
Yes,
and don't forget, they've both been duped by Dawn, so they actually have more in common than we think. Maybe they'll become allies.
Liz is not the smartest.
I know.
Knife in the prison.
I know. But when Jolene said that
sharpest knife,
that Sonia will enjoy playing with Liz, Lauren said that even just the phone call of her calling to say, "I'm out, thank you so much. Guess what? Witness X completely came undone." That was already her playing with her, which is very true. Lauren also says that Sonia is the only. We know that Sonia has so far only killed people who blackmailed her. Now, I don't think her husband blackmailed her. Helen blackmailed her. Dawn blackmailed her.
Yes, but Dawn wasn't going to continue to blackmail her. He could have.
Oh, she knew that Dawn was. The minute he started out, I want to know why you killed your husband.
Right.
And how
That's what it is.
Yes.
She
knew that he was
all of the info.
Yeah, because exactly. Which is smart of him. but she couldn't let that happen. So
another loose end.
Right.
Don't. Here's my admonition to anybody. Don't be a loose end.
Don't be a loose end. And by the way, that was the title of the episode, Loose Ends.
Oh, I love it. I did remember that.
Now, Emily says something true. Liz doesn't know that Sonia knows she's Witness X.
Oh, right.
So Sonia could pretend.
Oh, she could drive her crazy.
Yeah. So.
Why am I laughing?
Because of the possibilities.
Because I'm diabolical.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen there. The possibilities with Sonia are endless, and I really hope that they...
I'm looking forward to the Clash of the Titans.
Yes.
Myself.
And it's funny because even though this episode didn't inspire some people to write, they didn't feel that there was too much to dissect in it, but to me, this is more of what I want. I mean, I know that we love to dissect things and we love to try to figure out who did who to what, but just sitting there and watching great acting in a character that excites me, that's something that I've missed from Wentworth
recently.
Yeah. Let's talk about some drug wars.
Well, you know, the thing is, let me just go back to that last last season. Allie really did provide a lot of that, but she does it in such a quiet, kind of a gentle way. She did some amazing work, Kate Jenkinson. Really amazing work, especially when she was drugged out and...
but it was always with angst. There wasn't just pure... Because with
no,
Allie, I always
but her
felt...
work was superb.
Absolutely. But with Allie as a character, I always felt she was very vulnerable. I was always afraid for her. With Sonia, I'm not afraid for her.
No,
so it's just me kicking back and enjoying the ride. Kate Jenko, who is a marvelous actress, has indeed been very underused, and we'll get to that.
Thus far.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. But it is an interesting choice. I mean, at the end of season 4, I think we all really expected for it to start. And Heather also said, you know, they built up the promo and all the
revenge,
exactly,
revenge.
with Allie's face all over the posters, and so far, where's Allie? Where's her revenge? It's everybody else but Allie, pretty much. You know, so interesting choice.
Well, first episode we had Allie
a little bit, not much. Yeah, but not much. But let's talk about the drug wars for a second.
Which bores me to death.
I know. Ferguson is the godfather.
That scene of her sitting there in the chair, I expected her to talk like Mom Brenda.
Well, she did say...
we're here together today to talk to you about what we can do.
She did say management.
Management. But that was so godfathery. It really, really was. I loved it.
Yes,
it's a great image.
Inviting the stakeholders for a meeting, the buyers and the sellers. So she's offering Tina and Juice and their crews and Jake an alternative conduit of drugs.
And where is she going to find?
I don't know. That was one of the
conduit.
contest questions, and we'll see if anybody was onto it. But I have no idea what she's got in mind.
Me neither.
So we have...
she can blackmail.
But she's doing this for partnership because she's trying to align half of the block against the other half that hates her. She knows that this half, if she holds drugs over their heads, they will go after her.
Yeah, she's sure not a ghost anymore, is she?
No, not to them anyway. And Lily points out that Vera has been listening to Will more recently. So all of a sudden she lets Will convince her to get the dogs in, and she doesn't even tell Jake about it.
I like that.
Yeah, Vera has all of a sudden, she's kind of, the power balance between her and Jake has changed. I don't know if Bee's death changed her or what happened to her, but she is becoming much more assertive.
I think she realizes also that Jake is weak.
You think?
Yeah, Jake's weak.
I hope so, but I like that she and Will are getting closer together again.
I want Will back where he belongs.
Absolutely, and I think Will is feeling kind of content these days. I don't know if he has a plan, but he's warming up to Vera and he's whispering in her ears and she's taking his advice. And then Kaz, still trying, I don't know why she's still trying to destroy Will. I don't know what he's done to her since.
She thought that he raped Bee or something.
Does she still think that?
I don't think so. I don't know what it is. Let it go. Will is the only decent person in this prison except for Vera.
So she now paid off Smiles to get the information on why he was demoted, because he has a positive piss test.
Piss test.
And we see in the promo for next week that she's telling Vera that obviously drugs come back into the prison. She said there must be an officer involved. They couldn't have come back so soon if there hadn't been an officer involved. So hopefully Kaz whispering in Vera's ear. Will
Kaz is not
whispering in
very
Vera's
smart.
ear.
She's too emotional. She doesn't think things through. She's picked the wrong person to be her enemy. She should be doing everything to keep Will.
Well, actually, wait a second. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe when she tells Vera that there's an officer involved, maybe she thinks it's Will. Maybe that's why she's so pissed at him. Maybe she thinks he's the one bringing drugs into... I don't know why she would think that, but maybe that's what she's thinking.
Well, because he was gone and he came back and now here come the drugs.
Oh, and because he had... His piss test was positive and he was demoted. That makes total sense. That we figured it out, people. This is why Kaz is trying to get to Will, because she thinks he's the one getting drugs into the prison.
And she hasn't been around long enough to know that Will is the only decent guy there.
Right. Okay, I feel so satisfied that I figured it out.
Baby.
Okay, so but speaking of drugs, it didn't even occur to me. Sarah said when Frankie breaks that pipe, then later on Jake says there was nothing on the CCTV. Of course, because the cameras were turned away, because that's where Jake does his drug deals. So the camera was turned away, and
she was watching. I think the cameras move. And it
no,
seemed to
they
me
don't.
That, because she was trying
which
to
is
do
hilarious.
something within a certain amount of...
I still think we need to raise money to improve the CCTV security camera system on Wentworth.
Maybe Wentworth can start an Indiegogo campaign.
Okay, so but speaking about that pipe, Jolene has something to say about that. I'm not going to accuse Frankie's character of being ignorant, but the writer, Marcia, does not have a good grasp on physics. The pan she used to damage the valve was not strong enough to do the job, let alone on top of a sack. It would have been much better with an iron skillet. The same goes for the spoiler for next week about the lug nuts on the tire. I have to stand on or even kick a real lug wrench to loosen a nut. An adjustable crescent wrench couldn't sustain the force required to loosen those nuts without having to keep tightening the wrench. Both of these errors are an insult to any woman, gay or straight, that is mechanically inclined.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to say that it was a woman who wrote this episode, so she probably isn't mechanically inclined, no, nor are we. So we couldn't see that, Jolene, but I feel
we appreciate that. Now, what bothered me about that is that there was so much left to chance.
Okay,
she damaged the pipe. They had to call a plumber. Would the little bit of diversion that she
made the plumber go
to see what was going on? Did she really be able to sneak in there and steal the exact spanner or whatever?
It was
that
a bit
thing
convenient.
I think it was all a little bit too convenient, but that's all right. That's okay.
It is a show.
It is a show, and you have to do things for dramatic.
Speaking about that little riot that she caused, Jolene had a very interesting observation, which is at some point they show Kaz observing the situation. And I think as a top dog, she realized how much influence Frankie has on the women when she wants to. She can lead the women anywhere she wants and they'll follow. So that was a very good observation. Also, she's still looking for, when we see her with her lawyer from the legal aid, she's still looking for people who could have done it, could have killed Mike, and she's still looking into his people. And I think it should be clear to her from getting the letter with the kite, and that it's somebody who has a beef with her, not with Mike. Somebody who used Mike to frame her, not who wanted to kill Mike separately.
Yes, it's all about Frankie.
Right. So I think she's looking in the wrong places. And she wants to escape because she feels the cops, the police already are so confident.
They have their perp.
And it oftentimes
that happens all the time.
At least on television.
That they're happy. I'm sure it happens in life too.
Right. That they're happy having a person, so they don't even bother looking further.
Really, justice. It's not about justice. It's about closing cases.
It's true. It's sad, isn't it? But Denise is asking, okay, so if she escapes, where would she go? She can't go to Bridget. Where would she go? Would she go to her dad's? Would she go to Shane's? Where would she go? It's a good question. And I love Emily. She says, this is a bad idea, the escape. They should have hired the private investigator. They could have pretended not to know it. I mean, not to be in a relationship, Frankie and Bridget. Why wouldn't they just do that? Well, Emily, because that wouldn't nearly be as dramatic. That's why.
That would just be life.
So logical of you.
Exactly. It makes sense.
So
but
now,
it doesn't make good drama.
So now, walk with me on this little tour, okay?
Okay.
So, we're talking about Frankie and Bridget.
Right.
So let's talk about Frankie and Bridget for a second. You actually, it was sad for me to see this, but you were all actually quite relieved that there was no Frigid in this episode because you didn't want any more, strife and angst. But you were happy that when they did walk past each other, Frankie did look back. No detail goes unseen or unappreciated. I went for it. And Jane answered our question from last week as to...
A legal question?
Well, of course.
Of course, Jane is our legal expert.
She's our solicitor, our Australian solicitor, or barrister. What's the difference?
I don't know.
Jane, can you tell us?
One argues a case and one does
that's
research.
Right. That's right. Okay, well, so anyway, Bridget...
I think the barrister works at the bar.
No.
Yes,
you mean like... Okay.
At the legal bar. I don't think that they have a second job as a bartender or a bar back.
Who knows?
No.
So whether or not Bridget can go to prison for having a relationship with an inmate, in extreme cases where they can prove that there was
collusion of some sort,
that there was taken advantage of a patient, then it could go to criminal charges. But as far as this relationship is concerned, it's more about an ethical code, and for that she could be suspended. She could lose her license.
But I don't think she can go.
Right. So thank you, Jane, for clarifying that.
Thank you, Jane.
Since we're talking about Frigid, we also have to talk about Frowley. So you all have interesting theories about the little moment that they had together, and you all are certain that it's not chemistry. You have other explanations to what it is. Denise says that she didn't see chemistry, she saw a release of tension.
Sarah, that gaze.
She says it's a release of tension. Sarah said it's an emotional vulnerability. And Jane says that it was a moment of acknowledgement that Frankie is with Bridget and that Allie belongs to B.
Poor Allie. She belongs to a dead woman? That's it?
Does Allie, by the way, know about Bridget? Do we assume that B told her that Frankie and Bridget are together? Because we actually don't know that she knows.
Possible.
Interesting question. So let's deviate.
That would change some things.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's deviate to Allie for a second. As we said, she's underutilized. And also Rachel says, and I agree with her, that Allie is so focused on Frankie and following her around and trying to figure out what she's doing. What about focusing on herself for a second? We don't see Allie as Allie, which is sad because in season 4, we only saw her as part of B. Now we only see her as part of Frankie. I would like to see Allie as Allie, but maybe they're
Allie as Allie is kind of lonely.
Yes, she has a whole world inside her, and right now I think there are so many wheels turning in her head and so much desperation in trying to plan things, and we're not seeing any of that. Or even just nice interactions with people other than Frankie. Back to Bridget, though, I did find it extremely interesting that when Doreen came to talk to her, she opened with an apology for what she had said last time, which means that the writers want to remind us of that interaction, which you all took to mean that Bridget might have a child or have had a child or something, abortion, I don't know, something that has to do with motherhood. I found that very interesting that they wanted to remind us that, so I assume it's coming back somehow. Which leads us to Doreen. Now, funny enough, as Sarah said...
Funny haha or funny peculiar?
Both. Depending on your sense of humor, I guess. Sarah says, and I add, with Maxine being gone, with Liz being on Schitt's Creek, Doreen has become the voice of reason all of a sudden, and we like her better now.
Yeah, she's sort of back to the old dough.
So Jolene says, last year we were so annoyed with her. We were happy to see her being transferred to Perth. Now she's actually nice again, and we've lost so many
people right and left.
So we don't need her to be transferred to Perth. However, is she actually going to be transferred to Perth, or is this all part of Frankie's story? Back to Frankie. See what I did there?
Yes, I did. But let's see where you're going with it.
Well, So, in the promo, we see Frankie using the wrench to loosen a wheel in the van, right? We hear Bridget say that there's been an accident, and we see Frankie running. Now, thank you, everybody, for bringing to our attention the original Prisoner storyline, where Frankie did try to escape. She was shot and killed, according to what I understand, but she wasn't escaping alone. She took Doreen with her.
Uh-huh.
So now we're thinking, I don't know what Frankie's plan is, what she's trying to do with this van, but we're thinking that maybe Doreen was on this van, maybe being transferred to Perth, and that was the accident.
We'll
interesting,
see.
isn't it?
I have no idea. You know, I'm very annoyed with myself because, we were having this discussion last night about the show. Yeah. And I came up with a really good point, and I said, oh, don't let me forget that.
Next time, write it down.
Damn.
I don't remember what the point was about.
No idea.
Could have been about Sonia. Could have been about anything. Yes. It was probably Sonia because we were talking about
Sonia. I had a good label for something.
You have to write things down, baby. Anyway, this is a very intricate web right now, and I love what Jane did. Jane made a list of who knows what and who owes who.
Oh, I like this.
And I'm sure that the list doesn't even encompass everything. Right. But here's where we are right now. So it seems now in this show that everyone has dirt on everyone and everyone implicitly owes a favor to everyone. Vera knows about Bridget's relationship with Frankie and lied to the ombudsman about it. Bridget heard a comment made by the freak about Vera killing her mother, which hasn't gone anywhere yet. I don't remember that.
Right. And Vera didn't kill her mother. The freak killed Vera's mother.
We remember it this way. People say that it was Vera. I remember it being Ferguson changing the pills, so that Vera actually did it not knowing that she was doing it. But I don't know.
I thought she gave her an injection of some sort, but then.
Oh, yeah, you'll have to remind us, people, because I know that you've
seen
this show a million times.
But I know the freak killed her, not Vera.
The freak knows that Jake and Vera are together. Do we actually know that for sure? Oh, yeah, because she alludes to it a lot. Vera heard a comment made by the freak about Bridget being raped. Did she? I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Remind us. Tell us where. The frigid, sorry.
I mean, I tend to believe anything Jane says, but I don't remember that.
The freak knows all about Jake's dodgy drug deals, and she also set him up to murder Niels Jesper. Tina Mikado and the crew knows that Jake is supplying the drugs, obviously. Right. The freak, we suspect, knows about Bridget's past and that she's been in a relationship with Frankie. Juice saw Liz in plain clothes being led away to give evidence.
And she's nudging her about it, too.
Right. I'm sure Ms. Smiles has figured out that it's Frankie who took the shifting spanner.
Really? Why?
Because Smiles is in everybody's business. And Doreen knows that it was Liz who was witness X, as does Sonia. So, a lot of potentials there for a lot of...
Vera, not that it makes any difference, though it should, also knows that Liz is witness X.
Right. Also, Vera knows how B got out and was killed. As does Allie.
She was part of it.
As does Allie, right? And
so she's got to keep that from the freak,
right?
Because the freak knows it too, but doesn't know how to prove it,
right? So cool. All right, some crazy theories. It's that time.
Oh, I love crazy theories.
Not too many of them because there wasn't too much about Mike's murder in this one, but Jolene read a theory somewhere about how Frankie ended up being in prison. Kim had a plot of revenge against both Frankie and Bridget. The only way that she could get Frankie back and separate her from Bridget was to frame her for something big.
Does Kim have all that power?
I don't think so.
She does have drug connections, though.
Now, Sarah reminds us, we asked last week about, I'm sorry about the bottles, by the way. This is the time they like to do recycling. We asked last week about Frankie's mom, what we know about her. So she reminds us that we do know that she was abused by her mom. Her mom was a drug addict. And that her mom blamed her for her father leaving them. So, and she eventually was placed in foster care. So that leads her to her crazy theory. Mike's obsession with Frankie led him to find her mom while Frankie was inside, possibly even having a relationship with her, and or enabling her continued drug use.
Mike seems so gay, though.
Really?
Did to me.
She found out Mike was planning to do something to Frankie, and she shot him. And she's either unaware of Frankie being charged and imprisoned, still drugged out of her mind, or she's too scared to confess. Or maybe she was jealous of Frankie reconnecting with Alan, but not with her, and she was part of Frankie's frame-up. I'm hoping for a personal story like this instead of some freak manipulation or some random or obscure killer, that's for sure.
It's an interesting idea.
Her own story wish Whether she's involved with Mike's death or not, I think it's time to have Frankie deal with her mother. What I would love to see while Frankie's inside is her mother arrested, drug-related or whatever, and the two of them have to face each other and deal with their past while in Wentworth.
Okay.
Which is kind of what they did with Liz and Sophie. Right. Denise says one of the things that she picked up early on when Frankie and Bridget were talking in the kitchen about B, Frankie said something like, "It could have been me," and Bridget replied, "No, because you always had hope." I think there will come a time when Frankie starts losing hope and starts thinking maybe she needs to sacrifice her own life for the greater good. I sure hope not, especially because it's going to be kind of repetitive to do for her to have the same storyline as B. But my favorite was Denise had a whole explanation as to why she thinks they're doing what they're doing with Frigid now.
Okay.
She thinks that so we finished season 3 with a bang, right? The girl with the hot car. And then in season 4, we didn't get almost any of them.
The bang came in season 4.
Ha 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 ha. It took me a second. It's too early. And in season 4, we almost got none of them, both because of Ferguson's storyline that was too big, and because Nicole was out shooting Doctor. So now they're thinking, well, we can't. This is Denise, right? She's thinking for them. They're thinking we can't go back to the beginning and show you scenes from the early on in the relationship because that doesn't make any sense. So what will we do? We'll have them have a problem and kind of like break them up a little bit so you can have them make up. Like, you know, they say make-up sex is really great.
Right. And anyway, their tension is always better than their fulfillment.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
the tease is much better than the reality.
Yeah, some couples it works that way with. Mm-hmm. All right, so favorite quotes and scenes. Of course, your favorite, I don't respond well to blackmail.
I don't respond well to blackmail.
Liz to Doreen when...
No kidding.
Liz to Doreen when Doreen tells her she has to call her, otherwise she'll immediately suspect her because she thought they were best friends. I know, it's
the worst I've ever heard it.
Yeah. Because Sonia thought that she was her best friend, and Liz says, "We know what she does to them."
Yeah, watch it.
Juice to Liz at the dining room when she sees her tray of food. And she talks about indigestion. Can't say I'm surprised. Speaking of Juice, her walking like a penguin to get to her cell really quickly to get rid of the drugs.
Funny. She's so funny. I love Sally Ann.
Sonia to Don when he asks her to run away with him and the money. Do you really think our relationship is of the sentimental kind?
No.
Frankie to Allie, do you want a Chinese burn? Where do they bring these things from?
Who out there knows what a Chinese burn is?
I didn't know.
Here, give me your arm.
Oh, no. Now I know.
I won't hurt you. It's when you take somebody's arm and you go opposite and on their arms.
You bring it out, yeah. Jake calling Ferguson Captain Obvious.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, Liz's face when she sees Sonia back in prison. that was priceless. And to be continued, right? Okay, that was our show for this week.
Yes, and it was very lively, very entertaining.
You mean our show was lively and entertaining?
Oh, no. Well, hopefully it was lively and entertaining, but I was talking about Wentworth.
Yes. I know, how often do we say it was lively and entertaining? Not often. So it's great when it does happen. The next Talking Teal will be posted Sunday, May 7th. And your email deadline is Saturday, May 6th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So I have enough time to work before we go to...
see Barbara Streisand in Brooklyn. Live. To go to Brooklyn, you have to know how much we want to see Barbara Streisand. Now, I've seen her several times live, including in Funny Girl. That's how old I am.
I'm a virgin.
But
Barbara Streisand
Ron has never seen Barbara in concert. Or live and in person. So
the energies for next week's Sunday's Talking Teal might be a little different from usual. Yeah, and now you know why. So thank you for joining us as always. Write to us at ladypartsofvlog@gmail.com with all your crazy theories and everything else. We can't wait to see Tuesday's episode 5. Oh my God, we're approaching the halfway. How did that happen?
Time marches on.
Time flies when you're in prison. I guess not. Anyway, thank you again. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.